When you steward a little, God blesses you with more. But he can't bless you with more when we're not doing what we are called to do with the little. What every woman should know about personal finances before marriage. Okay, financial stewardship is key. Okay, there is a business side to marriage. Now, marriage is a covenant. It's not a business agreement. All them people be like, marriage is a business. No, it's not. It is a covenant. However, there is a business aspect to marriage, just like business. Business is a business. There's other things besides the money function. Like there's marketing, there's advertising, there's hiring and HR. There's different components to a business, like there's different components to a marriage. But there is a business portion to your marriage. You want to have a hold on your personal finances because that is going to either give you a lot of peace or it can give you a lot of stress. And if you can maximize understanding these basics before you get married, the better. Now, stay to the end. I'm gonna break down how you can break down your personal finances, but I'm gonna give you a few principles first. And then towards the end, the timestamp will be down below if you guys wanna see how I put together and manage our personal spreadsheet. Now, you ain't gonna see our business, but I will give you the tools that I use monthly to honor and steward the family's business. Now, as a woman, you wanna make sure your personal finances are together while you're single because you could be the treasurer of your marriage. Every organization has a treasurer, somebody that writes the checks or that pays the bills. I understand that the world would be like, oh, the man is the provider, the provider, the provider, the provider, the provider. And that is true. However, you might be also a provider bringing things into the home. And just because he's the provider, he might not be great at managing finances. Somebody in the marriage needs to be great at financial management. And I will say this too, even if he's the one paying the bills, you need to still know what's going on, okay? I'm not a woman that's going to tell you to have a little secret stash to the side. That's between you and God if you want to do that. However, what I will say is you do need to see bank statements. You do need to see transactions. You do need to have access to the money. And I'll break down the different components later on how you can work that into your marriage. But this is personal. We'll do a whole separate video on marriage finances, but you should know what's going on. So when you see what's going on, you'll be able to manage it. But let's start with you as a single woman, personal finances 101. You need to understand how much you earn and have a plan before you spend your money. So before you even touch your check, right, when your deposit hits, it's not time to go shopping. It's not time to go get that latte. It's not time to turn up for the weekend. Before the check even hits, you need to have a plan for your money, whether you're going to tithe, how much you're going to save, and what your bills look like every single month. Okay, so this is what I used to do when I was single. When my check used to hit, I would go ahead and give my 10%. Then I would go ahead and save 10% for myself. And because of rising costs, I would even elevate that a little bit to maybe 12 to 15%. You also want to see if you can have a long-term savings, either with your job, whether it be a 401k, whether it be your own personal Roth IRA. I'll get into more details later. This is just the basics. I just want to stick to the basics. But you need to have a long-term savings for your retirement, and you can do stocks, you can do options, there's a lot of different ways you can invest your money, but you need to have a plan for those three things first. What you're going to give, what you're going to save in your personal savings, and a portion of your money is going into a long-term savings account. Now, there's different ways to do this. However you want to break that down, it's going to be up to you, and you're going to execute that monthly. Always save some money for yourself. You never know what's going to happen down the road. Try your best. And I know it's hard for everybody. Everybody's situation is different, and everybody's in a different circumstance. I don't care if ain't no money. You need to save some money for yourself. Let some be late. Y'all gonna get me. Some can be late. You need to always have a little something on the side for yourself and for your family, because you just never know what's gonna happen. So I treat savings, tithing, and investing like a bill, and I pay those first no matter what. Then I pay the rest of the bills, okay? But you need to have a plan with your money. You also need to know how much your monthly expenses are every single month. Your car note, your insurance, your phone bill in one place, which I'm going to show you later in this video, you need to have a spreadsheet of where you can see your finances so you can get a gauge on, am I making enough money to cover my bills? Am I making enough money to live the way I want to live? And if the answer is no, we need to make a game plan how to increase your income. So you need to have your income, your expenses, and your savings. And then with the leftover income, that is what you have fun with. That's what you buy the makeup and invest in your business or your side hustle, or you go out to eat with your friends. That extra is what you do that with. You make sure that you pay everything first. So once you have a plan and you execute the plan, then you can spend your other money discretionally. Now, what I would say is you can make these also. You could do the cash envelopes, or you can make these expenses is fun money. The money I'm going to use to go out to eat, but that's after you have taken care of your responsibility. There's needs and then there's wants. Your needs come first. Okay? Your tithing, your savings, your investing, your expenses, those are needs. You need to make sure your lights are on. You need to make sure you have food in your refrigerator. You need those things. Everything else is a want. The makeup, the going out to eat, the hanging out with your friends, the trips, all of those are wants. Needs over wants, okay? The best thing you can do before you get married is figure out your debt situation. A lot of us have student loan debt. I'm not one of those people that says that you should get married with zero debt. Two people can tackle debt very, very quickly, way more than a single person. But while you're single, you should have a snapshot of your debt, your consumer debt, credit card debt, and student loan debt, your car note. Mortgage normally doesn't count as a debt, even though it is a debt. It's normally not included in that. But if you have consumer debt, you need to get your credit cards under control ASAP. Okay, that needs to go first. Always pay your bills on time. Please, for the love of God, do not be one of those women that says, oh, I don't pay my student loans. You are going to destroy your credit. You will need good credit. When you get married, your credit does not merge. You still have your credit score. Your husband still has his credit score. When both of you guys have good credit, you can move and maneuver through life. You can get houses, you can get cars, you can do everything. Do not destroy your credit, and understand having a good credit score. I'm not going to get into the weeds, but having a good credit score, all you have to do is pay your bills on time, especially things that report to your credit. You need to check on your credit often, at least once a month. I use Identity IQ to check my credit, check on my credit. I make sure that things are being recorded properly. If there's anything that's not, you need to contact the credit bureaus and get that taken care of. But you need to stay on top of your credit. So you need to pay your bills on time. Your debt to income ratio needs to be on the low side. So if you have a lot of debt versus income, you need to work on that. Or your credit utilization is under 30%. So if you have $1,000, you shouldn't spend more than $300 on your credit card. And if you do exceed it, try to pay it down as quick as possible. You also want to make sure that you pay before the reporting date, okay? If you pay your credit card on the bill date or whatever, it won't affect your credit in the best way possible. I'm trying to keep it basic. I'm trying to keep it so basic, but you need to if you don't understand credit, you need to learn credit ASAP. You need to go out there and find the credit experts, people that can break down credit. Credit is super important. Don't let nobody tell you credit don't matter. And I'm not a anti Dave Ramsey. I love Dave Ramsey, but baby, credit moves the needle in America. And even if you don't I'm not telling you to get into debt to have good credit, but you want to make sure you stay on top of your credit, because your credit can make or break you, and it can make you pay more for things and have less financial freedom. And you don't want to be the one that comes into the marriage stopping y'all from getting a house, or stopping y'all from doing certain things, or making business moves. So make sure you stay on top of your credit. And it doesn't take that long to build good credit. It doesn't take that long to fix credit. Okay, if you're in credit card debt, you can call a credit card company and say, hey, what can I do? What kind of deal can we make so I can pay this off? So make sure you stay on top of it. Pay off your credit cards. Pay your student loans on time, even if it's just the minimum. Pay your bills on time. If at any time you don't have enough money to pay a certain bill, you need to call them and let them know and work out some sort of payment arrangement. They can move the date. They can take a little smaller deposit. They can work with you. Do not act like your bill. I'm telling you, if you act like your bills don't exist, or you act like, oh, I'll just pay that when I pay it, and you don't communicate with the company, you're going to mess yourself up. Stay on top of it. Be responsible. If we cannot manage our finances, we don't need to get married. And I'm not saying you have to be perfect, but this is putting your big girl drawers on. This is doing hard things. And if this is something we can't manage, managing a household and a family is going to be even harder for you. So I'm going to show you right now how we set this whole thing up. You can use this and take this. These are just examples. Take this and make it your own. Okay, so this is an example of expenses and things that I do. So the first thing that I'm going to do is type personal budget at the top. Now, this is Google Excel or Google Spreadsheets. You can make this and personalize this any way that you want to. You can make it colorful, you could do whatever, but I do it the same every month. Now, down here, you're going to put the month and the year. So this is September 2025 when I am recording this video. And so I track all of my expenses in one spreadsheet. That way you guys can add another month, copy and paste, do a quick copy and paste, like next month will be October. And then you can kind of look at and gauge your bills month to month. But for now, we're just gonna do September. This is an example. Again, you can format this any way that you want. This is just a place where you can have your spreadsheet with your email. It's not going to go anywhere. So the first thing that I like to do is mark off my expenses. Then I'll put the due date. I'll put confirmation, you know, like when you get a confirmation that you've paid something, and whatever you want. You can make this however you want. I like to do the due date / paid. Mine is very simple. You do not have to overcomplicate this. You don't have to do anything crazy. So the first thing that I do is I make my columns. Again, you're an adult. Make them how you want to. You can go as long as you want to at the top. You can do whatever you want to do. You can make them colorful. You can do whatever. So the first thing that I do is I have my tithes. Then I have my savings, right? And remember we talked about retirement savings. It's better to set up your retirement savings as an automatic transaction. You can do that from your retirement account, or like you can make an automatic transition to your Roth IRA or your company. If you're in the military, your TSP, whatever the case is, right? So you have your tithes, you have your savings, and then you might have your retirement. Up to you if you want to track it. I normally don't. It's normally an automatic thing. So by the time I get paid, I don't even see it. Another thing that I like to do is write down our income for the month, because it could change. It doesn't, depending on your job, depending if you're a business owner, your income might change. So I like to have that distinguished. And if you ever forget anything, you can always add a column, you know, play around with it, make it however you want to do this. So I have savings. Then you'll have your rent. Some of you guys have mortgages. I think I spelled that wrong. Then you have your income, your tithing, your savings. You can have your car note. You can have your insurance, student loans. If you have more than one student loan, you might do student loan 1, student loan 2, student loan 3, whatever you want to do this, right? Credit cards. If you have more than one, credit card 1, credit card 2, then you'll have maybe your phone bill. Then you'll have your light bill, or maybe utilities. If you have a mortgage, you'll have an HOA sometimes, depending on where you live. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Let's see, we did insurance. You can do your life insurance. Maybe you have life insurance and car insurance. So you'll do car insurance. right? However you guys want to do this, and I know some of this stuff is spelled incorrectly, just you're an adult, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so once you have all your expenses here, then you want to put in the cost. Everybody's bills are different. I don't know how much income you make. I don't know how much you want to save or pay on rent. One time I made a video and I put rent as $500 as an example of somebody with a roommate, and I got so many comments unnecessarily. Nobody's rent is that much, and y'all put in whatever you make here, okay? Let's just say your income is $4,000 a month. Then you are going to want to tithe. I do 10%. I know that's a lot for some people. Tithing is totally up to you. Nobody can make you tithe, okay? That is a personal conviction. If you want to tithe, you tithe. If you don't, you don't. But I do 10%. Then I would take another 10% or 15% or 20% and I would save. So you can save anywhere from $400 a month to maybe $500. Here's the thing too, when it comes to your tithing, from me, just doing this way, I've always had enough. I've always been blessed. I've always been given more. I don't know what it is about tithing. There's something spiritual about it that if I pay my tithes and I do that first, I always have enough. For whatever reason, when I don't pay my tithes, or when I say, oh, I'm gonna pay my tithes later, it never works out. I don't know. It's just something that I've dealt with my whole life. So you have to decide if you want to tithe or not. Your rent, depending on where you live, let's just say $2,000. I don't know if you live with somebody. I don't know if you're splitting bills. I don't know if you live at home with your parents. Everybody's situation is going to be different. So plug your numbers in. Okay. Please don't be in the comments talking about, mine is this and mine is that. Y'all are grown. Okay. We're not going to be dense. We're going to use common sense. And I'm not trying to be mean. Just don't waste your time. Put whatever your numbers are in here. So if you have HOA, if you have utilities, if you have a car note, whatever your insurance is, everybody's bills are different. So if your bills are different, I don't want to hear it. Put your numbers in. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your breath. Put your numbers in. So once everything is added up, right? Let's see, I'm just gonna say you may have insurance, and this is life insurance right here, $40. Maybe you have a student loan of $250, $117, and $50. I don't know. Again, this will be up to you. Maybe you have a credit card and your minimum is $40, and then you have another credit card where your minimum is $60, and then your phone bill is $98, and your utilities is $120. Okay, and these are just some bills. Again, make sure you have every single bill that you have here on the side. Then you should add all this. Now what I normally do is do this by hand. Yes, the spreadsheet can do it for you, but I just like to make sure. I don't know what this is about for me. I just like to do it by hand. So I'm going to go ahead and add with a calculator off camera that you guys cannot see. I'm going to add up everything. 400 plus 2,000 plus 200 plus 350 plus 250 plus 40 plus 250 again plus 117 plus 50 plus 40 plus 60 plus 98 plus 120. Okay, so I am over. My bills extend my income. Okay, my bills with these calculations are $4,375 are my total bills. So two things need to happen when my bills exceed how much I make, which I make $4,000 a month. Normally people would immediately scrap their tithes. Again, that is personal conviction. That is up to you. That is something, if you want to do that, that's up to you. I would not do that personally. What I would do is I would look at my other expenses and say, what could I change? Do I need a $98 phone bill? Is there a way that I can eliminate my credit cards? Is there a way that I can eliminate my student loans? Is there a way that I can get my car insurance down a little more, I would either look at my expenses, change those up, again, up to you if you want to tithe or not, or what I would do is figure out a way to increase my income. My lifestyle, currently making $4,000 a month, does not support my bills. So I need to either look for another job, work towards a promotion, anything I need to do, or I can get a side hustle. I can do Uber, I can Lyft, whatever. Maybe I need a second job. I understand social media makes it seem like everybody has it together and everybody's thriving and everybody's doing X, Y, and Z. Everybody's not. And it is okay to be in a space where you have to figure out how to level up your finances and level up your life. That is just a part of the beast of being an adult, okay? But let's just say you made $5,000 a month, and this would change slightly to 500, and this would change to 500. So you are sitting at, with your bills, what is 200 above that? What's it? 457. So you have about 500 and so left over, because we would do 5,000 minus 4,575. Okay, so you have about $425 to do what you need to do for the rest of the month, right? Now, take in consideration your food, going out, if you have maintenance, meaning hair, nails, everything. You got to figure that out with what you have left. Now, if you want to, you can make a bill for nails, hair. If you want to make a bill for makeup, to me, you only have one face, so how much makeup do you need? But you know, the girls have habits. They want to look good. They want to feel good. You might have a fun expense or going out, right? But do you see how, like, if you don't manage your finances well, this $400 in a month can eat up really quick. So sometimes you do have to make sacrifices for what you cannot do right now for the long term. Like I said, there's other ways you can do this. You can get another job. You can, there's ways to go about it. Never stay stuck. Never say, oh my gosh, my life is horrible. I wish things were different. You have to make them different. And I'm saying this from somebody who's been through it, y'all. I'm 37. It takes time to establish yourself. It takes time to gain skills. It takes time to level up. It takes time for business. So do not get down on yourself if you know you're not where you want to be, especially if you're in your 20s, okay? Things take time. You're not supposed to have your stuff figured out in your 20s. So what I would say, when I go through this spreadsheet, and as you pay your bills, so as you tithe, right? And again, totally up to you, and you save, and I'm making all these transactions, I'm going on the websites and I'm pushing the paid link and all of that. And here's the thing I want to say too, depending on where you live in your quote unquote lifestyle, like this rent, you might want to live somewhere a little cheaper. You don't have to live in the high rise. You don't have to live in the nicest place. And I know that high rises and stuff are way more than $2,000, especially in Atlanta. I'm just saying, you don't have to live a lavish lifestyle to live nice. And I understand some people want to be content creators, so they feel like if they don't have a really nice place, use what you have where you are. I promise you, I've done it my entire career. You don't have to have the nicest kitchen and the nicest this. People will respect your journey. When you use what you have and steward what God gave you, you can increase. Okay? So once I go through my bills and I pay everything, what I'm also going to do is add the confirmation. Let's move this over here. So when they give me a confirmation of so-and-so and so-and-so, X, Y, and Z, you're going to put that here. So if any time, say, this has happened to me before where I thought I paid a bill and I went to my spreadsheet and I'm like, wait, it's green. I paid it, but I didn't have a confirmation next to it. So something could have happened. Maybe I didn't go all the way through the steps and push every single button. Sometimes I thought I paid something. I would go to my spreadsheet and it was blank. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't pay that bill. Because, you know, people get paid twice a month most of the time. So it's just really up to you how you want to do this. For the due date, I would move this over here so you know what dates You know what dates everything is supposed to come out of, like your mortgage, rent, savings, and all that. That's normally due on the 1st. Some people's mortgage are due on the 3rd. Your rent may be due no later than the 2nd. So you always want to know what date and day of the month. Sometimes your credit card can be due on the 19th. You know, it just depends. But you want to have your confirmation and then whatever other things that you have. And your spreadsheet can be this simple. Again, you can make it crazier, nicer, easier, whatever. But you need to have a snapshot of your personal finances each and every month. You need to have a game plan. And then look, the next month, all I do is I take the same spreadsheet, the expenses and the date, and I just copy and paste right into the spreadsheet. And then I have the costs and everything. I'll take all my bills, and because it's a new month, I will make all of these white because I haven't paid them yet. Okay, and I take out my expenses depending if that goes up or down. I take out the tithe, anything I haven't paid. So this is how you can manage your finances on a spreadsheet. Very, very simple, very easy. Everybody has Google. It's just Google Sheets, and you can do this, use this, and make this yours every month, again, however you see fit. Okay. All right. When you are financially disciplined, you can take your marriage and your life to a whole nother level. If you know how to save, if you know how to put away for a rainy day, if you know how to manage credit and debt, you will be a star player in your marriage. You can be how your family goes to the next level. And I know that this is normally put on the man, but women, we have so much influence on the money that comes in and the money that goes out. And I know that we want to live these lavish lifestyles. We need to have delayed gratification with a lot of things. It is okay not to go on vacation every single year, or, you know, have this and do this and look like this and spend this. I'm telling you, you rather have more money in the bank than more money than you wear, more money than you have on your body. Delayed gratification, self-control will take you a long way in managing your finances. But make sure you stay on top of your finances. This can make or break you, and it can make and break your family. And when you steward a little, God blesses you with more. But He can't bless you with more when we're not doing what we are called to do with the little. Okay. I love you guys. I hope that this was helpful, and I will see you guys in my next video. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye, y'all.